What's up, big dog?
You good, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I appreciate, man. Before we get started, I just wanted to say, man, you did tremendous career at OU, man. Big plays and big games, man. I was watching some film from that Tennessee game in Knoxville. Man, there's some big plays. You stopped that dude like couple yards short of the goal line there. Had a nice pick in K-State, and like that was like a couple 2-pick game too. He had a couple games like that, man. But it was nice to see you play, man. Are you still playing ball or
Nah, I'm done, man. My body is
is done, huh? Yeah.
But I definitely do. I appreciate that, man. I really do.
All right, man. I don't just get like 15 minutes or so. I just got a few questions here, man. Have a little bit of fun with it or whatever.
Yeah, no problem. No
Cool,
problem.
man. So I see you're all uber defensive back in high school. Were there any sports that you played when you were growing up or in high school that you thought you could maybe do something with?
To be honest, I grew up a baseball player, man. So I played select ball all my whole life up until like my freshman year of high school. Played my first 2 years in high school. I was a knucklehead, ended up getting kicked off my team, and I was just young and dumb, man. Didn't take it serious until probably like my sophomore year. When one of my Pee Wee coaches got a job at my high school, and it kind of slowed me down and got me on the right path. But yeah, growing up, man, I was a baseball player through and through. Like I was always good at football, but if you could ask anybody growing up, they would have thought that I'd be playing in MLB right now, just because that was my sole focus. Like that was my whole heart. I love baseball.
Nice. I've noticed a lot of football players do tend to hit the mound quite a bit, man.
Yeah, man. I think it's a tribute to my ball skills. I always tell people, like, without a doubt, playing the outfield helped me tremendously with my ball skills when it came to playing football. So I credit that a whole bunch.
Heck yeah, man. So talk about a recruitment a little bit. I've seen that you were like committed to Baylor first, and then you flipped to OU. So is there like just a big difference in the recruiting there, or like the campus or the team, or just whatever? What could elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, recruiting wise, like in high school, I really didn't get recruited at all. I think I was a 2-star until I committed to OU, and they gave me my third. But yeah, so I really wasn't too much recruiting coming out. A lot of small schools, like Houston, New Mexico State, things like that. But a lot of stuff happened after my senior year. Kind of went crazy my senior year, and some more offers started rolling in. Tech had called me late, but Baylor from like my junior year, just going to camps in there, they'd always kept a relationship with me, and things like that. So it was just a connection there with them. So I was committed my whole senior season there. And then, afterwards, like I said, more schools started coming in, so it was just something in my head. It was like, call Coach Venables, if, they're still recruiting. And, we ended up having a good conversation. He had coincidentally was with my high school coach like the week before the coach's convention and was asking about me. So it was kind of crazy that I had called him. So we went through that, yeah, and he was just telling me like, man, I remember you coming to your junior day, but they just weren't sure if I wanted to play offense or defense. He's like, so we didn't hit you that hard. And we were like, we thought you were going to Baylor to play receiver. So we really didn't have too much, hit you as hard as we should have in recruiting. He took credit, he's like, that's my bad. I still should have been on you, especially after watching your senior season film. I was like, Coach, honestly, I don't care. I just want the offer. Like, and my mind was made up. I was still committed to Baylor, but I knew once I got to Norman and seeing that just that crimson and cream, I knew it was a wrap for me.
Nice. The old crimson and cream, baby.
Ain't beat it, man.
Right. So that, like you said, 2 stars, man. That just goes to show it doesn't matter how many stars you got. It's in here and right here, man.
Exactly, man. It's how bad you want it. I think Tapp, Charles Tapper, Strike, we were all 2 and 3 star guys. So, it doesn't matter. You can come from anywhere. I tell those guys all the time, don't worry about those 4 and 5 stars. Don't even worry about those stars at all. I mean, shit. Once you get to college, all them stars go out the window.
They do just ball out, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
But I know you played in some pretty big games before in different venues, and But there's just something special about that Red River rivalry, the atmosphere, and just how intense it is. Could you like just explain like the lead up to the game and like your nerves and like how much hate you have for them Shorthorns?
Man, I think it's different when you're a guy from the area, from the DFW, or or a Texas guy from out here. So obviously that adds so much to it, just so much energy, so much. If somebody has family members that probably grew up UT fans. Me personally, I've never been a Texas fan. I've never liked the color orange. I was never, like you always have respect for, some of the great players that they've had and things like that. But as a program itself, no, I never really liked them. But just that week, man, like the drive down, I don't know if they still drive down anymore. I heard they might fly now, but that drive down 35 with the police escort and seeing all the fans, all the traffic leading into Dallas, just that whole atmosphere. And then obviously the drive to the game that Saturday, seeing all the fans there, all the tailgating, obviously the fair and all that stuff is going on. And then that stadium is unbelievable, man. Like, it's an old stadium, whatever it may be, but 100,000, 50 for you, 50 for the other team. Just crazy. It's always hot. It's either hot, and muggy in the morning, something like that. But it's always a crazy atmosphere. It's just something like, just even explaining it, I can't really put it into words, until you're at the game or, on the field or anything like that. But it's a great feeling, man.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I never played at that big of a venue or whatever, but man, I've been in some games like we just once you strap that chin straps on, like if you're like really zoned in, all that just goes away, man.
Fades away, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But
Fades away.
so you got like a pregame playlist or listen to like a certain artist to get your mind right?
I don't know, man. I was kind of weird. Like it was just kind of just how I felt when I woke up that morning. I didn't have like a necessarily set playlist, and then obviously in the locker room, there's music blasting anyway. So even if you do got your headphones on, you're gonna hear it. It's gonna be drowned out through the music in the locker room. So my main thing really was just getting to the stadium, going over my notes, things like that, talking with some of the secondary guys about things and stuff like that. But my stuff is more just physical preparation stuff and mental. Because I'm gonna get hyped anyway. Once I hit that field, I'm gonna get hyped. The music is just, I guess to calm some people up or to hype some people up. So for me, it was just depending on how I felt. It'd be either Meek Mill, Kevin Gates, or play some old Wayne back in the day, like high school stuff. But I didn't really have a set playlist like that. I was kind of weird when it came to that stuff for some reason.
Oh. Yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Jaron Benton. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's really good, man. He
Yeah.
got signed with Funk Volume or Jay-Z's label, yeah. So, but you gotta did you watch a certain football player that made you fall in love with the game of football?
To be honest, man, growing up, it was Mike Vick because I was a quarterback in Pee Wee. So like it was Mike Vick everything, man. I had his cleats, the jerseys, the headband, like wanted it. I wore 7 in every sport. Like it was Mike Vick for sure. And then obviously as I got older and started realizing I was playing DB, it became, Champ Bailey, Charles Woodson, Asante Samuels, like he's my all-time favorite. Just because I feel like our games are similar in the way he plays and the way I play, smaller guy and things like that. But yeah, but to start it off, it was definitely Mike Vick, 100%.
Yeah, Asante Samuel, he don't get enough credit, man. That dude was shut down for some years, not just a year or two either. He was shut down for a few years.
They need to get him in that hall. I don't know what they're waiting on. He needs to be in there though.
Yeah, speaking of Hall of Fames, the baseball Hall of Fame, kind of travesty this weekend. David Ortiz gets in, but Barry Bonds doesn't. I mean, you do remember the home run race between McGuire and Sosa? Yes. And every day it was like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
Right. I mean, and it's just crazy to me. It's because that era was just filled with steroid users. Like, and even you can say what you want, but even before Barry got on or whatever, he still put up Hall of Fame numbers, and it's just my thing. Like, don't get me wrong, I respect sports writers and journalists. I understand you have a job, but like for them to have that much power in a game that they've never played, you know what I'm saying? Don't even know what it takes to get to that level. but because they feel a certain way about a guy, I'm like, that's just ridiculous to me, man. I don't understand it. I don't think there's no place for it, honestly.
No, like I don't know, last time I checked, steroids ain't got nothing to do with your hand-eye coordination.
Right, and that's
No.
hitting. I be telling, like, hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in sports. Period. You know, it might be the hardest thing to do. So it's ridiculous, man. I hope they fix it. I hope something gets changed because it's just not right.
And to like leave Pete Rose out, I mean,
Yeah, I mean the man likes to
4,200
gamble.
hits.
Like the man likes to gamble, but we got politicians that can buy stock and have all this other shit going on, but a baseball player can't gamble.
That's
So
it right there, man. It's crazy.
it's crazy.
So I've been seeing a lot of excuse me, a lot of ex players just talking about how they feel about the transfer portal and who's left OU, and kind of blindsided by that coach there that left. And you got any thoughts on like not like players leaving and like not really coming back, or like just a loyalty thing when it comes to your team?
Yeah, I mean, like I can only speak for myself.
Right.
Because there were, like, my freshman year, I went through a lot, especially like my first 6 months on campus. It was just like not even football, stuff off the field that it was just a wild time in that point in my life. So there was, and then on top of that, I had got redshirted. I think it was only like 2 of us that had got redshirted out of our class. So it was just a whole bunch of stuff on my plate, and I felt like I needed to be close. Had came fine, but and this is why I think Bob, I credit Bob so much, because he came with me one day. It was just some random day, probably like a Wednesday practice, and he just told me, he's like, "Hey man, keep working. Like, you're gonna be a player for us." He's like, "Don't let the scout team shit." He's like, "Don't let any of this shit affect you. Just keep your head down." And he's like, "I promise you're gonna be a player for us one day." And literally that conversation alone, I think, is what kept me at Oklahoma. And then that offseason, I just tapped into a whole new level. And just, maybe the player that I was, but just having that belief come from Bob Stoops, your head guy, is just so important. So my loyalty ran so much deeper just because of that. Those words that he said to me that he probably didn't even know, it was just kind of casual conversation, which just propelled me to, the career I had. But, it's situations are different, man. Even when we were there, it was guys that transferred and left. Some of them, I was like, I understand why you left. And then, some guys leave because it ain't for everybody at Oklahoma. Like, it's really not, man. It's the weak get, you know what I'm saying? They get put, I wouldn't say put out, but you just get weeded out. Like, if you can't live up to that standard every day, then it's not a place for you. And that's just what it is for some people. And then, obviously as a head coach, it's a lot of pressure being a head coach at OU. And, I think over this last 4 or 5 years, probably like 30 something guys that are in the league, we couldn't get a natty out of that. Like, it's kind of crazy. So there's a whole bunch of talent there, obviously. So it's just about tapping into those guys and getting out of them and having your players actually believe in you as much as you believe in them.
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. It's all a test to your coach, man. Like, I know, like, that's all I had sometimes when I was growing up was my coach to reach out to as a male figure, and so it takes a great man to be a great coach, man.
It does. It really does.
It's so much more to the game than just X's and O's and lining up against somebody, But
yeah.
So I'm gonna wrap it up here. We're gonna wrap it up with a who, what, and why. So for the who, any receiver, dead or alive, who would you like to go best of 5 out of against? Like from 15 yards out.
Oh man, receiver. I would say, I mean, to be able to cover Jerry Rice obviously would be, a dream come true. But my all-time goal is T.O. Man, I think that would just be a fun, because he's just such a freak in nature. Like, I just think it would be cool to compete against him in that aspect. So it'd definitely be T.O. for me.
Yeah, man, when he played in that Super Bowl with that broken leg or his broken bone in his leg.
That's what I tell that right there to me is like, don't Jerry. I'll respect to Jerry and Randy Moss, but T.O. was just a different monster, man. It's different.
Could you imagine Mike Vick with Randy Moss together? That'd be so
Yeah,
sick.
that'd have been. Yeah, that'd have been.
So the where I don't know what I was gonna do. Yeah, the what is you got one album to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it gonna be?
Ooh, one album. Uh, it would probably be. It's not an album, but this is back when Wayne was dropping mixtapes that were like albums. So I would probably have to go with the Drop 3. It would probably be the Drop 3.
That's pretty good. I'm old school. I go G Funk era or some Warren.
You can't go wrong with that, man. You
That's
can't
a
go
pretty
wrong.
good one. So my last question is, why does everyone hate OU so much?
Hey man, everybody hates you when you're at the top of the mountain. They're still at the bottom. That's just what it is. Like we've been here. I mean, I think the poll came out #1 program of all time. You know, so like even like our down years are getting beat in the playoffs. Like, you know, these other blue bloods down years are 4-8 seasons, 5-7 seasons. Like that doesn't happen at OU. You know, if it does, it's every 40 years or something like that. It's some crazy shit. So just the consistency at this program, man, the leadership from top down, obviously like Joe Castiglione, the president from top to bottom, it's just like, I mean, and then like we talk a lot about our football program, but like winter sports, our softball team, our gymnastics team, like, you know, so you can talk about so many different areas at this program, and it's just there's so much like the championship lives here. You know, and the pedigree of coaches, Patty Gasso is a GOAT, you know, and our gymnast coach, everybody. So it's just from top down, man, from top to bottom. It's just a program that, you know, if you're not a part of, you're gonna hate, of course, because we're good at everything.
Heck yeah, OU invented it, man. Just like Barry said. I actually I got to meet Barry Switzer and Joe. I met Joe C at the Nebraska game this year.
Oh
I
yeah.
got to go down and check that out. I met Johnny Rogers, Johnny the Jet.
Yeah.
He's a cool old dude, man.
Yeah, oh man, Coach Switzer is so cool, man. I mean, obviously he would pop up all the time. His meat coach, chinchilla coach, you know, be the ever. It's just cool just chopping it up with us. So just to have legends like that to come back every day, talk to you, like a lot of people know like Joe Washington is in there every day. You know, so people from that era, like, and just talking to us and just giving us game, and it's just it's there's nothing like it, man. I try to tell people all the time, there's nothing like being at home.
I got a funny story about Barry Switch. When I met him this at the Brasky game, he shook my hand. I thanked him or whatever. He said call me by my first name. And I looked at my mom and I'm like, how does he know my name? He don't know me. And she points in my shirt, and I wore a shirt with my name tag on it that day. I was like, the old man still got it, man.
Still got it, man. I'm telling you, he missed the step. Barry's not missing a step.
Well, I appreciate your time, man, and I wish you the best of luck, and have a good one, man. And
you too. I appreciate you. Boomer Sooner, yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too, bud. Bye.
All right.